All right, internet world. This is Kyle here. Gonna do a video review of the Sea Eagle 285 little one-man fishing boat. I'm doing the video because there really aren't a lot of video reviews online of these. I'm gonna kind of go through the good, the bad, the ugly. There's not much ugly. There's really not much bad. Forgive me for video quality and video sound quality. I'm doing this on my iPhone and I've never even uploaded a video to YouTube before, so take that for what it is. All right, so I've had this boat now for probably, I think I bought it in May. It's August now. So I put a lot of time in on the water on this little boat. Done tons of fishing, mostly bass fishing, actually only bass fishing really, on this thing. So caught some amazing fish this summer. It's been a really good summer. Fishing's been really good. So anyway, I'm just gonna kind of go through how I have it set up, and then just go through like some things that I think are like design flaws or could have been done differently, and ways that I work around it, and then kind of give like a rating of, like, you know, comfort, fishability, speed, maneuvering, that kind of thing. So I'll start in the back here. You see I have my trolling motor. It's a Minn Kota. It's a 50-pound thrust. I highly recommend, if you're gonna get a trolling motor for your little raft or kayak or whatever, just get the strongest possible one that you can. This is a 50-pound. I bought this one because Cabela's did not have the 55-pound, which is 55 is the strongest that you can run. This boat is the strongest this boat is rated for. This boat's rated for 55-pound thrust trolling motor and a up to 3 horsepower gas motor. I think at some point I always kind of look on Craigslist and on Facebook Marketplace for little gas outboard motors, just to see if anyone's getting rid of one for a good price. But I mean, they're really hard to find used. It's really hard to find good ones used. I mean, the ones you find used are old. I mean, they're really old. They're old 2-stroke motors that probably barely run, and you're not gonna really find anything good to use as far as a gas outboard. You're probably gonna have to fork up the $800 or $900 for a nice Suzuki or Mercury or however much they cost. So yeah, I got the 50-pound thrust Minn Kota. It moves this thing pretty good. I don't know how fast. I would say 3 miles per hour, 4 miles per hour. I did have a 30-pound thrust on here, and it's this 50-pound thrust is definitely faster than the 30-pound. There's kind of this myth out there that the higher the thrust, it's not actually faster. I don't really know why people say that. That's not true. There's definitely more torque with the higher thrust motor, and you also get higher top end speed. So I'm not entirely sure why people say that it's not faster. I mean, it's certainly, this 50-pound thrust is certainly faster than the 30-pound thrust one that I had. And then you see on the back here, a lot of you are probably wondering, why is that black tape there? That black Gorilla tape I put there as a protector for, so this is where I put my anchor. It's my anchor right here, connected to a retractable dog leash, which is an amazing hack because it keeps the cord all concealed inside the dog leash. And it's not the strongest braided cord, but it's done really well for me. And as you can see, it's super muddy from pulling up the anchor, and instead of banging the actual boat itself, when I pull up the anchor, it bangs the tape, which which is nice to protect the boat so I don't accidentally, you know, I would rather not bang the boat itself. And then I have my battery back here. This kind of space back here behind the seat can really only fit like the battery. You can maybe fit like a small water bottle or something back here. But it's nice when I'm on the water and I don't have my trolling motor set up and everything. I have this extra space back here that I can put like a cooler or whatever. And then you see here I put a three-way mount, Scotty rod holder for my 3 rods. One big kind of design flaw that I'll point out is I have my rain jacket out because I'm probably gonna get rained on tonight. One sort of flaw here, as you can already see, the butts of my rods hit the seat, and it's really annoying when you're trying to turn the seat, when you're swiveling in the seat and you're hitting these. So what I have to do is basically pull the rods up in the holders so that the butts are sort of sitting right there, and they're not and then that way I can swivel the seat. But also another design flaw is when you have a full-size battery back here, it actually hits the seat a little bit. So I mean, when they built this boat, they were, you know, there's not a ton of space, right? Like this isn't like they have a model, the next model up from this, which you can put it's like a full-size Raft, and you can put two seats in it. And I think that model probably gives you a little bit more breathing room. This one you're pretty tight. It's pretty tight for space. You can see you have a little bit of space underneath the seat. I have my water bottle down there, and then there's space on the other side underneath the seat where I could put snacks or something like that. And then I got the paddles around. Obviously I have gone out and forgot my paddles. Thank God I had my trolling motor with me, but I have gone out without the paddles before on accident, and really it wasn't a problem at all. I like being as quiet as possible, so I try to paddle as much as I can. One thing I will say is this Velcro right here is replaced. I put my own Velcro there. The Velcro that came with the boat was complete garbage. I had to replace it essentially right away. It wasn't even like really long enough to hold the paddles, so I had to put my own Velcro there. The paddles are fine. They rip through some pretty heavy, they've gotten through some really thick weeds with them. They're pretty heavy duty. They're good solid paddles. I'm sure you're looking at these. So these are handles that I installed myself, and as you can see, I used the wrong kind of glue, and it was super runny. It ran all over the place. But I installed this handle here. There's another handle down here, and then there's 2 handles on the other side. I installed those handles because there was no handles on the boat anywhere. So like lifting up the boat, you had nothing to grab onto. So that was a huge design flaw from Sea Eagle. They should have put I don't know why they didn't put any handles on the boat. It doesn't really make any sense. When this thing is completely unloaded, the seat's off and everything, I lift this thing up and I move it. I don't use the wheels to cart the boat around with the wheels. I've done that one time at a boat launch, but other than that, this thing is super lightweight when it's unloaded. It's like maybe 30 pounds, 40 pounds. I know that might not be super lightweight to some people, but when you come from owning a 10-foot kayak that weighed close to 100 pounds, 40 pounds is pretty lightweight. So I picked this thing up and I car top it really easily with those handles that I installed. And then as you can see, you don't have a lot of room. I have, you have room for like, so I have this is my rain jacket. I'll get out of the way. And then I have my vest right here. But right here, I mean, you don't have tons of space. So I have that green bag is like a small little bag that clips on to the boat that Sea Eagle provided. It's just, I just keep like safety stuff in there. I keep a repair kit in there. I keep headlamps, batteries. You can put snacks in there. I put my keys, my wallet in there. Basically just a little storage bag. And then I have obviously my tackle bag. I only fish with one tackle bag. I know lots of people fish with more than one. In my opinion, if you're guiding or if you're fishing bass tournaments, then yeah, you can have all the gear you want. But if you're just a recreational fisher and you're carrying more than what's in this bag, you're carrying way too much stuff. So I mean, this bag is perfect size for me. And then I have my net obviously there too. I don't have any holder for the net. I just kind of keep it right there. I could put like a holder on the other side of the seat to hold the net, and then it's got the nice wood floor there for standing up. You know, the best thing about this boat is the fact that I can stand up. I do the majority of my fishing, I'm standing up on this boat. It's incredibly stable. There's almost no tip side to side at all. I mean, there's a very small amount, but compared to a paddleboard or a kayak, this thing is, as far as stability is concerned, it's 10 out of 10 for stability. I mean, you can't really get anything more stable than this. It's pretty amazing how stable this thing is. And stability and safety is a huge concern for me because I'm 6'1", 225 pounds, so I'm a bigger guy, and I have flipped kayaks before, and I almost lost all my tackle, and it was a really scary experience. So stability and safety for me is the most important thing, and that's a big reason why I went with a Raft as opposed to another kayak or a paddleboard. So yeah, stability, I give it 10 out of 10. Next, we'll talk about comfort. I mean, the John boat seat is amazing. It's incredibly comfortable. You're sitting high, upright, off the floor. I have some back issues. So sitting low in a kayak was really painful for my back. So having a seat like this where I'm sitting upright, it's super comfortable, and it's really easy for me to stand. I don't have to grab anything to stand up. I just stand up really easily. So comfort, I give it 10 out of 10. And then we'll talk about speed and safety. I mean, not safety, excuse me, just like speed and maneuverability. This is not a fast Raft by any stretch of the imagination. When you're just paddling this Raft, it's really, really slow. Really slow. You're kind of just crawling along, and it does not track well at all. If you read some of the written reviews online, you'll see people talk about how this boat does not track very well. I will say tracking is better with the trolling motor. When you got the motor down and you're cruising along with the motor, it tracks very well. I mean, you get some side to side movement for sure, but overall it tracks really well with the motor down. But as far as just paddling, it does not track well at all. For some reason, I don't know why, but when I'm paddling this thing, it always is pulling to the left. It's pulling hard to the left, and I don't really know why that is. I don't know if it's a weight distribution thing or if it's the way I'm paddling. So tracking and speed, I'll give it a 6 out of 10, just because it's better when you're trolling with the motor. It's really not a problem. But when you're just paddling this thing, it is very slow. So if you are going out without the motor, and you plan on covering any reasonably large amount of water, you're going to be struggling really bad to just paddling. I mean, if you're just fishing ponds, I mean, this thing's a great pond hopper. You don't need to bring the motor with you. You can just paddle around in like ponds or even real smaller lakes. it's not an issue. But if you really want to cover water, you can forget about it. Just paddling with this thing, you're gonna need the trolling motor. Well, let's see. So we covered stability, we covered comfort, we covered speed and tracking. Fishability, I mean, is for the size of this raft, Fishability is a 10 out of 10. I mean, like I said, I'm standing and casting 90% of the time from this thing. I'm always standing on it, and you can't really beat that for a small paddle raft like this. And then let's see, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I do a lot of fly fishing. I do a lot of fishing with a fly rod, so being able to stand up and cast with my fly rod is huge. That's one thing I hated about fishing out of a kayak, is I hate sitting down and casting. It's just miserable. But price, I mean, this thing's expensive. It's definitely not cheap. To me, it's worth it. We're gonna see. I mean, I've only had it now for 3 months, so we'll see, like, over the long term how it holds up, how the seams hold up. You know, I've ran over a couple of big sticks that I didn't see in the water, and I didn't get any punctures or anything. So I think, and I've dragged this thing, you can't see it, but I have the whole bottom is actually covered with Gorilla Tape, basically the entire running length of the bottom that actually makes contact with the ground. I put Gorilla Tape down there, and then when the Gorilla Tape gets all scratched up, I just replace the tape so that my hull isn't getting scratched up. But overall, I mean, I have to give it like a solid 8.5 out of 10. I think the biggest drawbacks with this is it's really slow paddling. It's very slow. It does get bullied by the wind because those pontoons are pretty big. It gets pushed around by the wind. So you got to kind of, basically what I do is I determine the wind direction, and then when I'm about to anchor down in a fishing spot, I just make sure that I have myself oriented in a way that the wind is going to push me so that I'm not casting in awkward directions. But overall, I really love this thing. I think it was worth it. So far, it's definitely been worth it. It's way better than a kayak. It's way more comfortable. It's a lot safer. And you could even put a gas outboard on there on that transom and really be cruising around. So that's about it. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, post in the comment section, and I'm signing out. See you later.